The birds were running into everything. It almost seemed like they were committing suicide.
All of a sudden, we have 5,000 dead birds in our city, and everyone wants to know what happened.
900 dolphins recently washed ashore in Peru, along with 1,000 pelicans. And over in the UK, 40,000 dead crabs washed ashore.
I can't explain it. It's out of this world. And then it started happening all over the planet.
Animals are dying in huge numbers.
In the last 4.5 billion years that the Earth has been around, there have been 5 occurrences thus far where numerous populations have gone massively extinct. The Ordovician-Diluvian mass extinction was the third largest extinction in Earth's history. During the Ordovician, most life was in the sea, so it was sea creatures that were drastically reduced in number during this mass extinction. Next is the late Devonian mass extinction. 3/4 of all species on Earth died. Life in shallow seas were worst affected, especially reefs. The Permian mass extinction has been nicknamed the Great Dying because a staggering 96% of species died out. All life on Earth today is descended from the 4% of species that survived. There are a multitude of speculations about the Triassic-Jurassic mass extinction. Climate change, food salt eruptions, and asteroid impact have all been blamed for this loss of life. The Cretaceous-Tertiary mass extinction is famed for the deaths of the dinosaurs. However, many other organisms perished during this extinction. Today, rather than natural occurrences such as volcanism, meteorites, glaciation, plate tectonics, and melting gas hydrates, scientists are realizing that humans might be the cause of the 6th mass extinction. What is a mass extinction? To understand what a mass extinction is, you first must understand what a normal extinction is. Extinction is an ongoing natural occurrence. 90% of all organisms that have ever lived on Earth are now extinct. As a species evolves and becomes more competitive in its ecosystem, its less competitive counterparts eventually die out. This process is called natural selection. Scientists refer to the regular extinction of species through natural process as background extinction. Background extinction is a natural and consistent rate of extinction over geological time. A mass extinction is a rare event in geologic history. It is characterized by a rise in species extinction significantly above background extinction. The key to understanding a mass extinction is scale. They impact a wide variety of species on a global level within a relatively short period of time. They are generally caused by sudden changes and give species little to no time to adapt. Many scientists have adopted the term Anthropocene to signify a new shift in era of geologic history where humans are the dominant influence on climate and the environment.
The reason we're concerned is because of the rate of the change. Geological changes have been much larger, but in most cases they have occurred much more slowly, and therefore organisms have been able to adjust to those changes.
A 2014 study found a high correlation between areas of high human density and areas of high decline or loss of species. If upper estimates of species numbers are correct, we will lose at least 10,000 species in 2014 alone. Burning fossil fuel releases greenhouse gases into our atmosphere, which intensify the Earth's natural greenhouse effect. The global average temperature has increased by more than 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit over the last 100 years, which is causing sea levels to rise, weather patterns to intensify, and climatic shifts. Many species are having a difficult time adapting to such rapid environmental changes. For example, changes in the timing of seasons can disrupt life cycles and events such as nesting, migration, blooming, and mating. These changes can lead to mismatches in the timing of key life events, which can greatly reduce a species' chance of growth and survival. Saltwater intrusion, for example, caused by sea level rise, may cause key species to die or move away from their freshwater ecosystems. Removal of these key species creates a ripple effect throughout the food web, which can affect a wide range of organisms that depend on the species for survival. Since we started burning fossil fuels, the ocean has absorbed about half of all the CO2 we humans have put out. This is good because it has kept a lot of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, but as the ocean warms, it takes in less and less carbon dioxide. The Earth has already become 30% more acidic since we started spewing out all of this CO2, and it could get much worse. Some scientists estimate that the surface waters of the oceans could become 150 times more acidic by the end of this century, making life in the ocean impossible for many species. Habitat loss poses one of the greatest threats to species biodiversity. As human population continues to grow, we need to clear more land for agriculture, cities, and industries. One of the biggest drivers of habitat loss on Earth is deforestation. Most of the world's forests are being removed at a rate much faster than their growth rate. It is estimated that 70% of the Earth's land, animals, and plants live in forest ecosystems. As forests are cleared for agriculture, fuel, and paper products, many species are left homeless in ecosystems too fragmented to sustain life. In the ocean, there are literal islands of trash floating about. Contamination from industry, runoff from farms, trash from landfills, and airborne pollutants all have adverse effects on wildlife. For example, agricultural runoff creates dead zones in rivers and streams. The overabundance of nutrients, called eutrophication, causes algae blooms, which deplete the water and the oxygen in it, killing freshwater inhabitants. In China, for example, over 90% of the water in and around cities is polluted. This should not be shocking to anyone because they release over 60 million tons of wastewater into the ocean every single day. An invasive species is a species, plant, animal, fungus, or bacterium that is not native to an ecosystem and has a negative effect on the environment, economy, or human health. Invasive species have caused hundreds of extinctions by competing with native species for resources. In many cases, natural selection favors the invasive species to the native, and distant invasive species are able to travel, exposing native species to disease, additional predators, or increased competition. Firstly, biodiversity plays a critical role in human food production and nutrition. Secondly, diverse aquatic ecosystems are more resilient. Ecosystems with high biodiversity are better at moving pollutants such as nitrogen. In addition, about 50% of all medicines available today are derived from biological sources. Researchers rely on plants, animals, and microbes to understand and treat diseases. Lastly, humans gain enjoyment from nature. Areas of high biodiversity attract tourists and individuals seeking outdoor recreational activities. Natural landscapes also add to our cultural heritage by giving us a sense of place and belonging in the natural world. Without biodiversity, we would be lost, and it's a critical part to our way of life. What can you do to help slow the sixth mass extinction? Two things is you can help slow biodiversity loss and address climate change. Firstly, use renewable fuels and plant a tree or two. Reduce what you can and don't use pesticides. Try to conserve as much water as possible and don't promote industrial fishing. Recycle and don't pollute. Use solar panels as an alternate form of energy and buy your goods locally. Reuse what you can and don't poach animals. And lastly, spread the word.